All right, good morning and welcome. It's Good Morning Anambra and it's Friday episode. Today is the second day of September 2022 and we're delighted to be here and to be counted amongst the living. My name is Nonya Mokoye, welcoming you to the show. Join us as we begin with the press review. Welcome to the press review. On the press review this morning, we have a public affairs analyst that have joined us to do one or two things here this morning. Dr. Henry Duru, good to have you in the studio.
Thank you, Naya. I'm glad to be here this morning.
All right, you know how we do it. On press review, we have some stories from the national dailies and of course stories making the headlines on the ABS website, and you have the opportunity to be part of what we do here. We have a phone line on the screen with which to call and make your own opinion count this morning. Let's begin with looking at stories making the headlines on ABS website. Anambra State government to commence enumeration, branding, certification of commercial motorcyclists. NOA alerts Anambra residents to prepare for impending flooding. Anambra State Female Comrades organizes skill acquisition training for young girls, women in Oka. AIG Zone 13. Mori visits Anambra Police Command Headquarters, Amobia, reassures of onslaughts against criminals. All right, Henry.
Thank you very much. I think the first story, the Anambra State government to commence enumeration, branding, certification of commercial motorcyclists is something that has actually been in the news. And we know that over the years, the commercial motorcycle operators, people that we call Okada in our local parlance, have actually constituted some challenges, some social challenges, even though they also solve a lot of problems. But you know, where there is 12, wherever you have 12, you must have a Judas amongst the 12. So, and when you look at the problems emanating from that very subsector of our transport sector, you will count disobedience to traffic regulation. Somebody once joked that when you want to cross a road where you look right, you look like you should also look up because you might have an Okada coming down from the sky. Yes, that is a metaphor for that lawlessness that we are talking about. Then the more important, more serious one is the security challenge always posed, you know, by that means of transportation because of the convenience, you know, which it affords a criminal to escape, the ease of escape when someone commits such a crime. There was one that I saw some time ago at Mpo, about 7 years ago. You know, just in broad daylight, some people on a bike just stopped, snatched a woman's handbag and escaped. There was no way anybody could catch it. It was on the express, on Ichenugu Expressway. So problems like that will actually call for such a policy response. And it is something that has been always said, but I believe that the government is now out to do that. Assuming, just let me give an example with the scenario, the example that I just gave. Assuming that person, or maybe assuming all the commercial motorcyclists are, or maybe were enumerated, and then each of them had number assigned to the party. I don't think it's going to be easy for any person to come out, because once you come out, you don't have your number, you don't have your identification, you will easily be arrested, and you're already a crime suspect.
I think in GRA on it, they have something like that.
Yes.
They wear one cloth with their numbers
Yes.
clearly written
Yes.
on them. Okay. Now, let's move on now. We'll start with the first paper, This Day newspaper. Let's see stories on This Day newspaper. NEF, North won't vote on ethnic religious sentiments. The banner headline there says region carries scars of one it voted twice, once against exploitation of its diversity. Okay, UNESCO estimated number of out-of-school children in Nigeria now 20 million. Wike to Ayu, you are an ingrate. Way children made you chairman from gutters. And Nigeria's total debt profile now 41.60 trillion naira, says DMO. Felicitation with Tunde Ogbeha at 75. Foreign capital importation fell to $1.45 billion in second quarter. Osinbajo meets West Bank president in Washington, seeks support to end petrol subsidy. Others. All right.
Okay. The major story there, NEF, North won't vote on ethnic religious sentiments. It's something good to hear, but I always doubt, because we always say something like that all the time. Whenever we have elections, we talk about issue-based campaign, that people should vote not based on ethnicity or religion. But when you now see the voting pattern, by the time the results are coming out, then you begin to see ethnic and religious dimension to that pattern. But then I think the problem has been with the elite, because they have been speaking from two sides of their mouth. The same Northern Elders Forum that said this will still be the same people that will be instrumental to swaying the votes, so that the votes will align with the ethnic and religious sentiments of certain persons. So I believe that once the elite, because if you look at the voting pattern in Nigeria, for instance, I've been in the field over the years monitoring election. You will discover that you might come to an area, maybe a polling unit, even a local government, and you will see somebody who is very powerful enough, influential enough to sway votes, tell people where to cast, but everybody is saying so and so chief saying we should vote for this person. So at the end of the day, you discover that it is the elite that are manipulating the common people. Now, if you go to northern Nigeria, where the society is a little bit more feudalistic, you see that such control is even more. So I think when the elite decides to guide the common people aright, then this will stop. So it's not all about saying this as a matter of, just by what public relations, saying it on the page of newspaper. We want to see them to actually, come down to the grassroots and tell these people, see what we should be doing henceforth.
I think 2023 is going to speak whether they actually carried out.
Yeah, so we are waiting.
Okay.
Just a few months from now.
Okay, the Guardian newspaper is next in our lineup. Let's see stories making the headlines on the Guardian newspaper. Stop borrowing. Experts warn federal government as debt profile hits 41.6 trillion naira. We have riders there, government owing 85% of Nigeria's debt, says DMO. Customs boss fault NNPC subsidy payment claims, says 36 million liters daily petrol consumption unaccounted for. Teriba, debt financing is policy option. Turn debt assets to cash flow. Stop borrowing. Increase revenue, block leakages to get out of trouble. Bismarck suggests borrowing is burden if it won't increase future cash flow, or insists 2023 fiscal plan is self-contradictory. Don't make Nigerians perpetual losers. Huriwa knocks government over non-provision for capital projects in 2023 budget. We also have on that paper, Nigeria now has 20 million out-of-school children, says UNESCO. Norge vows to mobilize against APC in 2023 over governors opposition to local government autonomy. NAFJET killed 49 Boko Haram fighters in Borno, Kaduna. Jigawa government seeks aid for flood victims, and the Nigerian economy gasps for breath as bandits, thieves, saboteurs lay siege. Will help PDP lose in 2023. Wike replies, aye.
Okay, first of all, the major story.
Yeah.
Stop borrowing. Experts warn as FG debt profile hits 41.6 trillion naira. I think we are somewhat burdened by debt, and it's very unfortunate if you look at the amount that has been borrowed and then you try to see evidence of what has been done with that amount borrowed, then that is where the problem is. You imagine?
Could that be the reason these stories are coming out, that we use this to clear grass, we use this to feed this?
Yes.
Could that be the
definitely,
reason? Trying to channel it to...
Yes, that is the problem. You see, assuming we have actually utilized, just imagine 41.6 trillion, that is our budget for several years, our entire budget for more than 2-3 years. That is what we are talking. So assuming we have actually invested them where we should have actually invested, we shouldn't be talking about a debt burden now. But we would have created more wealth. Just like when you borrow to do your business, if you're actually using it judiciously, if you're actually investing what you are borrowing from banks to finance your business, you shouldn't be talking about debt burden. Because at the end of the day, whatever you have actually borrowed, you have actually invested, and then it will now amount to more profits that you can, comfortably pay. Because a lot of countries borrow. The United States of America, their debt runs into trillions of dollars.
That means one thing is borrowing, another thing is what you use the money you borrow to do.
Yes, but they have the capacity to pay. They can service their debts without any, without serious strain, just like we are experiencing. We are experiencing. That is why we are talking about the debt. Not that that our own is bigger than that of the rest of the world. But the thing is that we are under strain to pay.
All right. Hello. Please, if you want to be part of what we do, you can move away from your TV set, or you bring down the volume very, very low so we can communicate effectively here. We move on now to the New National Star newspaper. Let's see. Ayu doesn't want to go because of 14 billion naira party funds. That's coming from Wike. He must quit now, Bode George. Party mocks Tinubu Shetima over visit to Jonathan. And welfare, we are neglected by Southeast governors. Ex-Rangers players cry out. Edo plans mass burial for mummified bodies. Delta demolishes suspected IPOB hideout in Asaba. ABGA leadership dispute. Supreme Court clarifies judgment. And Lawan Akpabio Mahi to learn fate September 20 as INEC prepares to release candidates list. Okay, these and more stories coming from the New National Star.
Yes.
All right.
If you look at the major story there, Ayu doesn't want to go because of 14 billion naira party funds Wike. And then you look at the riders there. You now discover that we are not even talking about the issues of election. Look at, he must quit now, Bode George. Party must Tinubu Shetima over visit to Jonathan. These are not the issues a country that is so much burdened by developmental problems should be talking about. Why the person visited this person, whether this person should
not visit,
should not visit, whether should resign or not.
All right, let's see who is here. Hello. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Your name and your location. You're welcome.
This is Talk and Do. We're calling from Ghana.
You're welcome, Talk and Do.
Thank you. The issue of Noge not supporting APC that I want to talk about.
Go ahead.
Not only APC, any government that doesn't want the progress of the youth should be voted out. From A to Z. Local government, state of assembly, house of assembly, and Senate. For us to have peace in Nigeria, I don't even know that what is good for the goose is good for the gander. If the elderly people have been there for years and nothing is happening over there, they should excuse themselves honorably and decide to give chance for these younger ones. alive. He advised Buhari that when he's picking the elderly one as a minister, he should also attach the youth behind that person to support the person in order for the person to take up in time to come. But I don't know what they are doing there. May God just help us.
All right. Thank you very much for your contribution all the way from Ghana. Thank you so much. All right. You're still saying something, or do we move on?
Yes, so I was just observing that the discourse is not yet about the issue. So these are distractions. I think we shouldn't be bothered by the internal wrangling within parties. Rather, they should come out and tell us what we are interested in. What do they want to do? How do they want to do that? And what is going to be the result? I think that is just
what Nigerians want to hear.
That's what we want to hear.
Okay, the Punch newspaper now. Let's see stories on the Punch newspaper. NNPC can't justify 6.34 trillion naira petrol subsidy with rider there, customs. Okay, riders, reps differ over 11 trillion naira deficit in proposed 2023 budget. And we also have PDP crisis. Wike lampoons Ayu, threatens party. George hacks governor. ASU strike its 200th day. Students decry failed negotiations. All right, let's talk.
The story on NNPC is very interesting. 6.34 trillion naira being spent on subsidy. I don't know whether any West African country has up to that amount as the entire national budget. I doubt, because I know that Nigeria economy is about 60% of that of the entire West Africa. And then our budget, it is just about half, almost half, 50% of what we budgeted last year. So this is what we have been using to subsidize petrol. Not kerosene or not diesel, just petrol only. And this thing has been questioned since the time of Obasanjo, Jonathan. I remember Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala in her book, Fighting Corruption is Dangerous, where she talked about the dangers that she faced as a result of her attempt to probe the subsidy scam. That was where she revealed that even the kidnapping of her mother then was as a result of that. And now, people are raising questions. Who are the ones consuming this? So the suspicion is that certain persons are collecting this money for what they actually do not import. So meaning that people just cook up figures and then make claims, pay us. So I remember
whoever that is paying could not investigate.
Yeah, that is even my problem, because I remember one of the current presidential candidates saying that one of the first things he's going to do in the petroleum industry is to even carry out an audit to discover, because this is what we have been saying. But my problem with this country is that we continue to say we will do. I remember this.
Talk is cheap.
Yes, under the Jonathan administration, that we are going to audit. After the whole auditing, what we are hearing is that that we have subsidy scam. But then who are the scammers? That is the problem. So that actually confirms the suspicion that there are a lot of people in the high places who actually have interest in this scamming. That is why we know of the scam, yet we don't know of the scammers. So it's a problem. It's a problem, because it now means that when the government is talking about being broke, that it is citizens of this country that are rendering the country broke. And a lot of them, we have houses abroad, they travel for their medical...
And they sit and watch the government still borrow a lot of money to work.
And they can't even pay civil servants. A lot of states cannot implement even the 30,000 minimum. What is even 30,000 naira? When you just take it and go to the market, you come back almost empty-handed. Yet it cannot be paid. And we are talking about people scamming the nations. Yet we don't want to name the scammers. These are the issues we want to be hearing from the political parties. Not that we said this person visited this. We want to know, how are you going to handle this issue? They are talking about removal of subsidy. When you remove subsidy, okay, now the Buhari administration has actually, they said sometime next year the subsidy will be removed. They don't want to remove. It's going to lead to crisis. Even Imagine where you go to buy petrol for 800 naira. Already, the removal of subsidy on kerosene and that of diesel has actually caused the prices to skyrocket. So now,
kerosene
a lot
is
of
1,000
yes,
naira now per liter.
yes, a lot of stations cannot even operate for the length of time they used to operate before because of cost of diesel. A lot of hotels are having problems. A lot of companies are having. So imagine when it now happens regarding petrol by next year, as when the Buhari government leads, and another person now decides to now remove the subsidy, then it will now sell for 800 now, 900 at times, 1,000, depending on what is happening in the international market. Then at the end of the day, how much are you going to buy bread? How much are you going to buy a cup of garri? So it is a very serious problem. That is why I'm worried when politicians leave this and they are talking about who visited who.
All right, let's see. We move on now to the Nation newspaper. More stories coming from the Nation newspaper. Wike bombs are you. PDP has party's crisis deepens. We tried as the national chair, prodigal father, says Rivers helmsman. Governors begin plot to sack Ayu. 38 million liters of petrol smuggled out daily, says Customs CG. We tried as there doubts over 60 million liter daily consumption and questions over 6.72 trillion naira subsidy vote in budget 2023 proposal. And we have Nigeria's out-of-school children now 20.2 million, says UNESCO. Why our debt profile will continue to rise by DMO. EFCC arrests Osun Assembly Speaker Olomo. 11.9 billion naira stolen from Kwara's treasury between 2011 and 2019, says report. Oyomesi to interview 86 for Alaafin tool. Screening begins Monday.
Okay.
Can we look at the out-of-school children? Because it has come repeatedly in some of the papers, it seems.
Yes, 20.2 million. So what it means is that we are retrogressing, because there was a time we were making progress. We are retrogressing. And then one of the most concerning aspects of it all is that most of these figures have emanated from northern Nigeria, where we have a very serious problem of insurgency, banditry, and all that. So, and when you have this number of young persons who should be in school, being out of school, then you are running a very serious risk, because around them, they find banditry. Around them, they find terrorism, and then they have nothing doing. They are not in school for their minds to be enlightened. So they become vulnerable to fundamentalist ideologies. So that is something that is very concerning. And we should actually try to find a lasting solution to this. We have been doing a whole lot of things, including free education, even though it's not working in some parts of the country, but I'm sure it works in northern Nigeria, where even some state governments give...
some are fed.
Yes, some are fed. Then they are even giving uniforms. They are giving textbooks. It's only when you lose your uniform, that first one given to you, that you might not have to go and spend your money. But everything is there. Say people don't want to go to. So I think it's bigger than an economic problem. It's not just about the money. It has a lot to do with culture, ideology, religion. So it's something that has to be pursued with serious open-mindedness. But at times, politics comes into that.
Because it could be a time bomb waiting to explode.
Seriously, seriously. Because around that environment, you have banditry, you have terrorism. So you have groups with fundamentalist ideologies. And such minds that have not been educated are easy targets. They will easily be recruited.
All right, let's move on. In case you're dropping by, you can join the conversation with the phone lines on your screen. Call to make your own opinion count on the press review this morning. On the Daily Trust newspaper, we have other stories coming from there. Okay, PDP crisis worsens as Wike insists on Ayu's resignation. We've seen that several times. 2023, Nigeria enters critical stage this month. That's coming from INEC. Death burden, genuine concern affecting national development, DMO. Troops kill dozens of Boko Haram fighters, destroy camp in Sambisa. North now wiser, no preferred presidential candidate yet. NEDC launches 31 trillion naira development master plan to rebuild Northeast. Concerns as Kenya's court freezes Flutterwave accounts again. All right.
Okay. This issue of debt burden is very important because that is the reason why analysts are believing that the subsidy regime is unsustainable. Because you are owing, you are not earning enough. The little
this issue of subsidy, do you know when you look at the history of subsidy, you will weep for this country?
Yes, yes, because it's something that we have not, that is shrouded in mystery. There are a lot of questions raised, just as I said before. I don't need to repeat them, but at least we know of the issue of how much do we use. We know of the issue of people putting claims for what they didn't actually import and they are being paid. We know of the issue of investigations, audit, that we still have not been able to point at the scammers, even though we know that there is a scam. So it's a problem, and it's something we want these politicians to be talking about. Then something was said. I wanted to comment on the large quantum of petrol fuel that we are losing to
daily
theft.
basis.
Yes, on daily basis. It is very concerning because this is not like stealing someone's phone or maybe stealing 50 naira from somebody's wallet.
That's to be coming from custom officers.
Yes,
what does it say about our borders?
Yes.
Porosity of our borders?
Yes, because what we are talking about is not something you put in your pocket or you put in a nylon bag, but it's something you load on very large vessels, very large ships. So how do those ships load? It will take them even days to complete their loading, and then they will leave the port and then go to any country that they want to go to without being detected. So what it tells you is that there are collaborators.
Complicity. Let's see who is here. Hello, good morning.
Hello?
Good morning. Your name and your location, please. Oh, the call has ended. Please, if you call, just tell us your name, where you're calling from, and go straight to the point. All right, go ahead.
Yes, because years ago, we remember when 2 or 3 senior naval officers were dismissed because of missing of a ship, a ship called MT African Pride that was arrested for smuggling of petroleum products. Eventually, they said the ship had got missing. I remember a comedian. Okay.
All right, hello? Hello?
Hello?
Hello, good morning.
Hello?
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Your name and your location, please, and you go straight. Good morning.
Hello? Morning.
Good morning, we can hear you.
Hello?
Hello, good morning.
Hello?
All right, go
That is
ahead.
network problem. So I remember a comedian, making a joke with that episode, saying that somebody came to a police station to report that he was looking for his bike. And then the policeman shouted and said, a ship is missing in this country. You're talking about bike. What is bike? Somebody might have put it inside his pocket.
Okay, it's
and then, so you're talking about bike. We're talking about ship.
Hello, who is here? Hello, good morning.
Hello?
Good morning, your name and your location, please.
I'm calling from Niger State.
Your name, please.
On Sunday.
Sunday, welcome. Go ahead and talk to us.
I want to talk about this article on okay.
All right. Network is a problem this morning. All right.
So that very episode is a metaphor for what we are seeing now. People are actually colluding to do this. It is not something I can do. You require somebody who knows the route, somebody who understands the intricacies of sea transportation, port clearance, and so on and so forth. So for customs to say this, we have to take the thing seriously.
All right. Hello. Good morning. Hello. Okay, the Nigerian Tribune. Let's see stories making the headlines on the Nigerian Tribune. Nigeria's debt hits 41.6 trillion naira. We've seen that before. INEC to publish final list of presidential NAS candidates September 20. After vilifying Jonathan, photo ops won't help you. PDP tells Tinubu Shetima. Buhari's presidency has failed integrity test. Autumn. 11.9 billion naira stolen from Kwara Treasury between 2011 and 2019. That's audit report. Wike replies, are you? Children made you chairman will also teach you a lesson. Lagos Ekiti voted against local government autonomy. Abia, 9 others voted for Nolge. Customs DG faults 6 trillion naira fuel subsidy. Plenary stalled as EFCC arrests flies Ogun Speaker to Abuja. Alafin interview for 86 candidates begins Monday for a particular seat of
that is interesting, really. You know, it's a very prestigious position. So when you talk of that Alafin for Oyo, that was the leader of the Oyo Empire that stretched into Benin Republic of today, Togo. So you understand the prestige attached to that. Even in this modern time, I think the person should be the #1 monarch in Western Nigeria.
Politics is turning everything in Nigeria into something else.
To something else. Then here we have a story on 11.9 billion naira stolen from
Kwara State Treasury.
Yes, you see, just when you hear the amount, you shudder. And when this thievery started in 2011, imagine what 1 billion was then, not what it is today. So, and what it could have done then.
And between 2011 and 2019.
Yes. So that's
of 10 years.
10 years. And that is the ones that the audit actually discover, because there are some that auditors will not discover because they are not spirits. They work based on documents, the documentations that have been actually kept. But then my concern is always with discovery.
Okay. Hello, good morning. Okay, go ahead.
So my concern is that we always uncover a crime, but the criminal we don't uncover and we don't punish. So it doesn't deter someone.
And that makes others to be bold.
Yes. Do you know there is something very interesting that happened in one university and another? I think it should be University of Abuja, when the president as a visitor sent a visitation panel, because it's done every 5 years.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. Your name and your location, please.
I'm calling from Djibouti.
All right, you're welcome. Your name?
My name is Daniel.
All right, go ahead, Daniel.
What they are talking about is stealing of petrol. Is it 1 naira that they will put in the pocket? they know about everything. They know about it. They are just deceiving the whole Nigeria, thinking we don't know what they are doing. How can somebody say this? Is it 1 naira? I see how that was. Is it 1 naira that somebody will put for pocket that will not see?
Hey, God.
They know about it. So, if they say petrol, stealing of petrol, thief of petrol, they know about it.
All right. Thank you very much, Daniel, for your contribution.
Yes.
All right. Go.
So, now quickly. Now, every 5 years, the president as a visitor should send a visitation panel to come and probe how the university has been run for the past 5 years. So after that, the panel report actually indicted some persons in the university, including the registrar, of financial misappropriation. You know what happened? After a few years, this registrar reappeared as the chairman of the governing council of another federal university. Now promotion, after the person retired, the person got promoted. You know the reason? The reason is that the registrar there wasn't acting alone. So he was collaborating with a lot of people in high places. So there's no way they will make him the scapegoat. So what they did, somehow he was quickly retired. Eventually he was given a bigger
and I don't know if NAIT is still functioning in Nigeria.
That is the...
NAIT, do we still have them around?
I don't
Transparency, accountability, whatever, set up and all whatnot.
Yes.
Are they still here? Are they still working?
The issue is that a lot of things will frustrate even the civil society, because you are working in an environment, network of institutions that each should work effectively and then in tandem with others. For instance, even if you are SERAP or whatever, you are going through the court to actually make your case and press for something, and then the matter will last for 10 years. So how are you going to survive it?
All right, let's move on now. The last paper, but not the least this morning, Daily Independent newspaper. Our time is fast spent. Let's quickly rush over it. Okay, we've seen most stories. IPOB threatens Abia community over land sale for prison. We want to resume work. Bayelsa Varsity ASU tells Diri. Varsity ASU tells Diri. Supreme Court clarifies ruling on APGA leadership torso. Military airstrikes kills cause of bandits. Okay, I think let's look at that story of ASU. I think it's like some states that joined the strike earlier has gone back to classroom.
Yes.
Now, Bayelsa say we won't resume work. Bayelsa Varsity ASU tells Diri. We use it to wrap up the show, please.
Thank you very much. It's always a problem because the university teachers have one union, but they have different employers. So at times, what the federal employers are pushing for might not actually concern the state employer, the state employees, sorry. And but in this case, I think there is one thing that actually concerns them. But one thing that happens is that it's easier to break their resolve when they do not see enough motivation to continue, being given the fact that maybe out of the whole 7 or 6 issues, it's only one that is affecting them, and maybe it's something they can dispense with, something they have actually learned to live with. But for the fact that they join these strikes and even continue for up to 6 months, 7 months, shows that they are not even satisfied with their employers. If you look at some state universities, they are being owed arrears of salaries. I'm not talking about salaries withheld as a result of strike. I mean arrears of salaries.
Before the strike?
Yes, I even know of a particular state where a friend of mine was working. At some point, they were protesting. They went on strike, that state university, and then they were sacked.
Okay.
And they are still in court.
Okay, I think Kaduna, is it not Kaduna State?
That one is Kogi.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, so we can go on and on, but time is no longer a friend here. Our callers, please, we apologize, we can't take more calls because our time is fast. But not to worry, we have more coming up on Good Morning Anambra. Thank you so much for being here, Duru.
Thank you very much. I'm glad to have been here this morning.
All right, do join us for more program on Good Morning Anambra show this morning.